Alright, sorry, it was a little noisy. My roommates were being noisy. But, so this is, I wanna, mix this video with 2.5 and then when you're right at the video. But, anyways, so where was I? Oh, yeah, so I went to Sonic after that night that we stayed in that with a friend and then we watched a movie. I went to Sonic and then, I saw Carmen, and honestly, I just kind of wanted to say hi to her. And she's like, "Well, how are you?" And I didn't know what to say, so I was like, I can't live with Chito anymore. I pretty much told him, and I wasn't planning to tell her that, but I told her that. And so she's like, "Oh, maybe you can stay in my place." And I stayed in her place for 2 months. Like I said, college is like 1 month, feels like 6 months, and one semester feels like 2 years or 1 year. So far I'm in college, and I was with Chito for 2 weeks, homeless for a couple of days. I know at one point I was homeless for 1 week, and everything's kind of a blur. I wrote it down somewhere, but anyways, I'm with Carmen for 2 months, and then hold on, where was the third part? Hold on. Oh, okay. I remember now. I had notes, but I don't know where they went. Like this part of the room looks organized. The other part, yeah, I don't have a lot of stuff, but it's all kind of still cluttered. Like my bed's there, my TV's there, mini fridge, and then my desk, and it's a huge desk, like bigger than this place. But anyways, that's why I told you that because I couldn't find my notes. Anyways, so I stayed with Carmen for 2 months, and it was awesome. It was I think one of my highlights of the, well, 2012 was really a great year because that year I moved. I worked in Colorado. That was my biggest dream since I was a teenager. And at 21, I was able to live and work there. And then I went to Belize. So that was like my first international country I went to. And Mother's Day was awesome because I actually spent time with my family. I don't really do that, especially being in college at the time. And then I went to the military, so I couldn't. Anyway, so 2012 was wonderful, and I was telling you, staying with Carmen was a highlight, but leaving with Chito was also good. It was just like parts of it was like was a little hard, but anyways, who doesn't have hard parts in their life or in their year? So I stayed with Chito with Carmen for 2 months, and then I had to leave because they were pretty much telling me that the money I gave them, which was like $200, didn't really help them, and they were only helping me because it was an emergency, and they didn't want me there permanently. And that was almost the same story everywhere I went. Like, I don't even want to get frustrated, but that was, I mean, and it confuses you. Like, why didn't you just tell me this since day one? Anyways, so I stayed with them for 2 years. I mean, 2 months. Felt like 2 years. Just kidding. No, it was awesome. It didn't feel like 2 years. It felt like it was a good time. Anyways, so I stayed with them for 2 months, and then after that, I couldn't stay with them. So I think that's the 1 week where I was homeless. And the first day was like a nightmare. I think it was close to one of the worst days of my life because it wasn't worse. I feel like the worst days were when I have nightmares and I scream in my dream and then I wake up screaming. That's pretty up there for, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being bad. That's pretty up there for a bad day. But this came really close to it because I remember one day I followed Colleen and she stayed up late, so I was like, let's just kill time. And then she went to this house. It was gross. There was food everywhere, and then the cabinets had holes. The shirt weren't wearing their shirts. The guys weren't wearing their shirts. It was gross. I think I ended up sleeping in my car. I was gonna sleep like in her dorm or something. But yeah, that one day was horrible. The 1 week, I slept in my car for like 2 days. I tried camping, but it was too cold, so I slept in my car, like the homeless shelter, for like 2 or 3 days. One day I slept in the movie theater place. I don't know. No, well I did, but like at 2 a.m. I left because I don't know. I guess I thought the security was gonna come, but I never got caught. And then another time I went. This one's a good story. If you haven't been listening, listen to this part. This little part at least. So I go, I go to this place. It's a building right next to the library, and I study. And then they're closing the building. I think I go to the restroom, and then they close it off, and then I hide in one of the rooms, and I have my blankets and I have my blankets and my pillow. I told my best friend this story. So my blankets and my pillow were like straight up in one of the like you could see it if you walked in the room. You could see it. It was right there. But I was hiding behind the podium when I heard security walking. I closed the door, and then I was just hiding, like behind the podium. Like see the podium's right here. I was like right here hiding, and I don't know. To this day I don't know if they saw me or not. But they were flashing their lights. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had to have seen. I mean, they did. They saw the blankets and the pillow. And as they were going around, I was kind of like going the opposite way as where he was walking. So the only way he could see me is if he went like right by me, or if he looked over me. But he never saw me. And I was able. Well, no, I left there like around 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. So I ended up sleeping in my car again. Luckily I had a car. But so after that, let me see. So I stayed with Carmen for 2 months, and then what's the third place? Oh, okay. So this part of the story goes back to my story, and I was telling you like the days that I was homeless because, well, it kind of correlates with the story. But so this one day was one of the 7 days that I was homeless. That's why I told you, about the other days. And then so this day I was looking for I saw this ad, and it said go here, buy a shirt, and then you get free food. And this was again from Mecha, and she was from Mecha. Naiely participated in Mecha. This story is so old. I can't believe it. But anyways, so I go there just for the food. And when I parked there, I was like, I feel kind of bad. I don't know. Somehow I felt bad because I was like, I'm not gonna just come here for the food. I wanna come here to support them if I'm gonna buy the shirt or whatever fundraiser they said. But so I ended up not going. But she was there selling the shirts. So if I would have gone there, she would have been there, and. But she was there. She was part of the story, anyways. So I'm gonna stop there because now you know how I was, how she found me and why I was there, in the place where she found me. So now you know that she found me in the Mecha meeting because I was tagging along because someone else was gonna show me where Shito's apartment was. And now you know that. What was the second part? Hold on. It's an old story. so much went on. So that was the first part, and then the second part. When we saw the movie with her friends, and I was walking because that girl didn't want me in her house. They're like, we invited Renee, so I took a walk, and that's where I found them, and then that's where that's where we all watched the movie, and she was Salvador's friend, so she watched the movie as well, and that's where we actually met. We actually met there. Like, she wasn't just there. Like, we actually shook hands and everything. And then, so that part, and then this part says that one of the 7 days after the 2 months when I lived with Carmen. So I lived with Carmen for 2 months after Cheetos, and then 7 days I was homeless. And then one of those days was when I was gonna go to this fundraiser just for the food, and then I decided not to, but she was there all along. She was selling the shirts. So now I'm gonna stop there because how we kind of met. So she was there all along. In part 3, I'm gonna tell you how I told her, and it's kind of like a happy ending also. So you have to stay tuned. You have to watch part 3 for sure, because it's a happy ending. All right.